What's good? We're back in this thing. Today we're not going to be going over anything in specific. I'm just going to be making a visualizer how I would if I were to do one for Travis Scott. I think someone left a comment on one of my videos saying something about making a visualizer for Brent Faiyaz or Trippy Red. I'm gonna probably be doing it in the same style as like their visualizers, but I just have this Travis Scott footage and I think I have like a real good scene that I want to do. All the assets I'm gonna be using are gonna be linked below. I'm gonna be using primarily all the stuff from my texture pack and paper rips pack, so that can be found in the description. And I recently reached out to Acid. They're like an overlay company or whatever, and I just like asked them if they could send over some products for review. They sent over this hole punch pack, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to incorporate it into this video, but we'll try. Shout out to them. I'll have them linked below as well. Not sponsored or anything, just got a product for free to kind of review. Also, yesterday's video, the Fredo Bang Big Step Up video, is going crazy. It's probably like the #1 performing video on my channel for the first 24 hours. So we're definitely going to do a full breakdown of that video. The guy that actually edited that video watches my channel, and we kind of been chatting a little bit in Instagram DMs. So we might even have him come on to the channel and kind of break down how he did the effects specifically, and then maybe we can compare how I would have done them. So that's really cool. If you want to see that, definitely leave a like and a comment. If you're new here, what we're doing is a thing called Tutorial Miss. It's where I upload 31 videos in 31 days of December, most of them being tutorials. Today, obviously not as much so, but you guys are definitely gonna learn some cool tricks today as well. I'm just gonna be not doing as much of a tutorial, just more so like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen those beat videos, like if I were to produce a beat for Whole Lotta Red, basically if I were to make a visualizer for Travis Scott. But yeah guys, that's enough talking. Let's get into the video. I'm not exactly sure what we're gonna do yet, but let's just hop right in. All right, so first off, I'm in Premiere here and I found a clip that I kind of want to use for the visualizer. We're just gonna do one scene in a visualizer, not like a full thing, because I just want to keep this video a little shorter. It's definitely gonna be a lengthier video. This is the clip that I want to use. And then obviously this is a lot of frames or whatever to export as a sequence because it's 24 frames per second. But what we're gonna do here is just when we go to export, go to media, make sure it's on JPEG sequence. We'll put it in this folder called pics and name the first one 1. And then we can go to render's maximum depth, uncheck the frame rate and make it something like 5 frames per second or something like that. So it's gonna be a lot less frames throughout the whole thing. And then we can click use render maximum quality and then export that. Let's see how many frames we got. I didn't do the math, so I'm not exactly sure how many frames we're going to end up with here, but hopefully it's not too many. Like I said, I haven't planned this video out at all. All right, so now we're in the folder and it's 17 frames total. So I'm actually just gonna go every other frame and delete since it didn't let us do custom frame rates. So basically just doing it myself. So every odd number, so it's a total of 8 frames. That looks pretty good to me. All right, so now what we're gonna do is bring in the first image into Photoshop. I'm gonna be kind of modeling mine off this first scene in this Brent Faiyaz video. You can see it kind of has like an image in image kind of deal. There's like a little bit of drawing. I'll probably do some stuff like that. And then we can go ahead and drag a texture in. I'm going to use this black scratch 10 and we can just fill up the whole frame with it. And then I'm going to turn the black scratch to something like, I think since it's a visualizer, we can go with something like a little cooler, like lighten. It doesn't look as realistic as like paper or whatever, but just since it's a visualizer, it kind of adds a cool effect to it. And then what I'm going to do is drag in another image from the screens we took. I want to do something like 108, just like where it has like the pond a little bit more out. And then we can do something like that. Make it a little smaller. I'm just gonna cut a little bit of it off, maybe like this part, make sure you can rasterize it. Then going back into my pack, I'm just gonna find something that I think looks cool for the effect. I'm gonna go ahead and use something like Black Sheet 7 here. Scale it holding shift so it's kind of the same size as the image itself. Doesn't have to be perfect or whatever. I'm actually gonna make sure that the image can cover up this whole thing, so I'm gonna make it, and then we can go ahead and create a clipping mask and turn it to something like color dodge. That way it just looks a little bit different from the other one. Actually, I'm gonna do screen. I like the way that looks. And then what I'm gonna do is just add a photo filter because I'm not really quite sure what I want to do next. I just want to make it look a little different. So we can do, I'm a big fan of sepia. I'm gonna do some sepia here and put it on 50. And that way it affects everything in the whole image. Kind of just has that aesthetic throughout the whole thing. And honestly, I'm not really quite sure what I'm doing, but I just went to a brush, used like a smudge brush, and then clicked on this layer and just like went around the edge and kind of had the edges like smudge. And then I think I'm just gonna have it like slowly come in with each photo because it's like it comes into a circle. So I think that'd be pretty cool. I don't really have a plan for this video. I'm just kind of tweaking it as we go. If we want, we can go ahead and change something later. But for right now, I'm going to save this as the first frame in the visualizer. So I'm just going to make a folder called Vis. It's always a good idea to save it as a PSD as well. Save it as a PSD and as a JPEG. Group everything besides the photo filter because I'm going to use the photo filter on each one. And we'll just rename that one. We can hide everything in there. And then I'm going to go ahead and drag that second photo in. So I'm just gonna have it like kind of loop, but like out of order for these, if that makes sense. So it's gonna be 108, and then I'm gonna have it do the next one. And then obviously like these two images are never gonna be synced up. I think it would just be cool to like have them kind of out of order. So it's like playing a little bit. And I'm gonna drag the photo filter on top here. And then I'm gonna turn off this layer so I can kind of just see how big it was roughly last time. We don't have to make it perfect, but it just helps to kind of have the same kind of idea. And then I'm gonna just cut off a little bit. Doesn't have to be the same amount. Then I'm gonna duplicate that black sheet that we used as the overlay for the image. So I'm gonna go ahead and create clipping mask. And obviously we need to scale this up a bit. There, turn it to screen. And then I think I'm gonna make just the sheet a different size last time, just so it looks a little different. Something simple we can do, just change it up a bit. We still need an overlay for the overall image. So I think this time, instead of using one from the texture pack, I think what I'm gonna do is go to paper rips and folds and use like something like this, just something different to change it up. And that looks pretty cool. And then again, going to that one photo layer and then just using the brush, dragging it around the edge. And then I'm just gonna have it go the opposite way. I don't think you can really tell too much that it's going the opposite way, but that's what I'm gonna have it do. And then we can go ahead and file save as. I'm gonna save it as the second PSD. We're not gonna replace the one, just so we can go back and tweak each one if we want to. And then JPEG number 2. Again, grouping everything besides the photo filter, turning that off and dragging in our next images. Turning back on that layer so we can see how big we want it to be. I think this time I'm just gonna make it negative width, so it just flipped, just something a little bit different than last time. I think with visualizers, you can like try out new things that like you normally wouldn't do in like music videos or whatever, just because it's like supposed to be just like, kind of just look weird. Go ahead and copy the black sheet that we were using for the clipping mask, and then we can turn on the clipping mask here, scale it up so it fits. And then I kind of just want new rips on this photo filter here, so I'm just going to go ahead and we can actually turn off the overlay so I can see a little bit while I'm working, and then go ahead and rasterize this. And that way we can just go ahead and change up the ripped edges on this one, just so it doesn't look like the same image over and over again. And to do that, we're just going to go to paper rips and we're going to find one of these. And then to do something just fast, I'm just gonna magic eraser and then delete that, drag it over here. Obviously doesn't look the best or whatever, but it will do. And I'm just gonna merge those two images right there. New layers that we made, the new rip, and then I can drag this around to wherever I want. We can even give the overall thing like a little tilt so it's not in the same spot. And then going to brush tool with that smudge, gonna go around the edges. So what we did is just went twice last time, so I'm gonna add 3 this time. So it's like slowly gonna get like more and more closer, going the opposite direction each time. I don't even know if you're gonna be able to notice in the final product because they're images anyways, but I just thought it'd be a cool little thing you can do. And then again, going to some kind of paper texture. Hopefully this video isn't too boring. I feel like I'm not really teaching much, but if people wanna like recreate something like this, they can like kind of understand what I'm doing each time. So maybe it's not too boring, I don't know. And I'm just gonna go into Premiere and see if I even like what we're doing here. It's always kind of good before you do all of them, right? And just import those 3 images. For some reason they imported backwards. So that's 1, that's 2, and that's 3. That's kind of cool. I think I'm gonna make them like visualizers and stuff. You can like change the length of each one. So maybe the first one will make like that long. I'm just eyeballing. I don't even know how many frames I'm making each one, but yeah, it's looking pretty cool so far. But for right now, like, let's just continue doing that. So back into Photoshop, the next image in the effect. We're on our 4th one, so that'll be, I think this time we're gonna use a different, just a completely different image in the top left. Something like this. Just start blank sheet of paper. Just rescaling it to around the same size. And then I'm gonna also just drag in a paper texture over that, so that way we don't have to mess around with the blending modes on the white one, because sometimes the white textures just look a little weird on images. Create a clipping mask over the image itself, and then we're just gonna hit it with the one of those Kyle brushes, the Kyle Natural Edge Eraser. I'm also just gonna make a clipping mask over the image of, so the black is clipping over the image and then the image is clipping over the white sheet of paper. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and turn off caps lock so I can see the eraser, and I'm just gonna erase the edges to whatever I think looks good. That looks pretty cool. I think I like the way that looks. I'm just gonna scale. Let's see, what did the other ones look like? Because this is definitely bigger now. Whatever, we can do that actually. I like the way that looks. Just turn off that image down there, turn off that, and we need to drag a texture on over this one right here. I think that looks pretty cool, where it just like has like the whatever's just in the edge. And then again, going to, we gotta make sure the photo filter's on as well. And then just going to that brush that we were using the whole time. It was the smudge brush. I'm just gonna go around Travis here. Also just going to check what it looks like in Premiere. We're definitely gonna play around with the timing of everything in a second, but for now, just go back in and keep on working. And onto the 5th image. I'm gonna turn on that so we can match the size, because what we are gonna do is actually do like a fold sequence here from the pack. Clippy mask over that. Now what I'm gonna do is turn on the opacity so I can see where it folds, and then we're just gonna do a real quick job. Hopefully this is good enough there. And what we're gonna do is just duplicate the layer and then go ahead and click on control there and then select on the layer and delete that. Rasterize it first, I guess. Then we clean up the edges here. So the reason we did that is because now we can turn this, we should make these both 100% real quick. So we can go ahead and add a different blending mode. So it kind of looks like it's like folded over, like where you can like barely see the image through, if that makes sense. So just trying to find a blending mode that I like. Maybe something like soft light looks good. We're gonna also go ahead and add that texture onto here. I forgot which texture we used, but shouldn't matter too much. Just any of these look good. Before we do that, I'm actually going to click on this layer, go to blending options, add a drop shadow, but have it only come out that way. So it's like coming from like the paper fold, if that makes sense. Obviously the distance is way too high. Change the spread a little bit, opacity down a lot. Just adds a little bit more of a 3D element to it. Just going to merge those three and then create a clippy mask of the black one on top of that. And then go to something like whatever blending mode you're feeling. Forgot what we did last time. I'm going to check so it's like consistent. We did screen, so we're going to go ahead and do screen on this one. That's what we did already, actually. And then I'm just going to rough up the edges around here so it looks like now I'm realizing that I merged the layers so I can't rough up the edges, but we can just, it's going to be a little bit more complicated, but not too bad. I think it's worth it to sell the effect a little bit more. What you can do is just drag it up big enough and then control click on the layer there, rasterize layer actually, and click delete. Actually, you have to control shift I. So what that did is just deleted everything besides the edges here. So then you can go ahead and use the eraser tool on the image layer. If I'm explaining this really bad, I apologize. This is just more of like a fun video, and I'm also just trying to explain as I go. I have no clue what I'm doing too. I just want to let you guys know. So that's pretty cool. Oh, we still need a texture over the overall background. You can do that pretty easily. File, save as, save it as the 5th one. And then we're gonna go to the last fold in that sequence because there's a 3-fold sequence in the pack. And this one's a weird one because it's pretty much all just folded, so we don't really have to do much to it. We're just gonna make sure that this part right here is exposed. Just Control J there, and make sure that we cut off this part. And then turn back up the opacity of both of them. Forgot what blending mode I used last time. Soft light looks fine here. Then we can go ahead and merge these. We can add a texture on the back. And then I just realized for the last two, I forgot to do the swirl thing. So we're just gonna check which one I stopped at. Actually, just the last one. So this is the 5th one, so we need to do 5 swipes around. 5 there, and then we can actually go ahead and just replace, make sure we have the photo filter on, and then we can make sure we replace the 5th JPEG here. This is going to be our last one because we filled up the circle with smudges, and just because this is taking a lot longer than I thought. If you guys want to see me do like a full visualizer, definitely let me know in the comments. I could like actually plan it out so I'm like a lot more efficient in the tutorial part. We're just going to completely fill it this time. Doesn't really matter. It's everything but Travis there. And then we can go ahead and file, save this as the 6 PSD and then the 6 JPEG here. I'm going to go into Premiere and import those last two. And then drag in the 5 and 6. And then I'm just going to play around with the length of each of these for a second. And then I'm actually going to use the default footage as well, just so you can like kind of see how you could slap this in as well. Go to screen for this, number of echoes, add a few, and then just make sure I bring down the highlights, the whites, and the exposure. I'm just going to drag this up, delete, and then we're going to just make that go fast real quick. This is what's cool about a visualizer. You can do like whatever you want, and it's still like, I think no matter what, kind of just looks cool. And then I'm just gonna repeat this, and we can add some kind of transition. I think I'll try to use that pack from Acid Bite again, or Acid Bite, because they sent it. This one gives you the blending mode and says different, so let's try this one out. Unlink. I don't want the audio. Let's see what it gives you. So it tells you to use difference. So I'm gonna go ahead and see what that looks like. Maybe we'll change it, but it looks pretty cool actually. And I think it'd be cool since it's like a circle to maybe, I don't know how well this is gonna work, but just try to fit it around here. Since this is a visualizer, you can really just do whatever you want here. Also just kind of having fun with this video, not trying to make it look as best as possible or whatever, but you know, I think we're getting something that looks pretty cool. Maybe have it transfer into actual footage again before we do that. So just dragging it there, cut. See what that looks like. I don't know what part of the footage that is. Oh yeah, we needed to cut that. Drag here. See what that looks like. Maybe fast forward all that right there and see what we came up with. I don't like how long that lasts. Just gonna change that. All about just tweaking stuff with this, right? You can even change up the order of these over here. Just doing stuff real quick. Just gonna like cut the last frame on some of these and maybe just like add an invert or something. Kind of to play along with that overlay we have. I think at the beginning I'm gonna have them all kind of come in fast for the first part. And when it reloops, maybe slower. Maybe we'll try a few other overlays by adobe here just to see what we can kind of come up with. Rectangle, I don't even know what that is exactly, but we can try it out. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this. This one's named difference too, so we could try it out. It's kind of tough, not gonna lie. Maybe drag that out longer. Can we make it last longer? Will that look weird? No, it won't. All right, now we're getting somewhere, boys. Let's just keep on dragging on a few of these. Black and white difference. Let's see. This one might look cool too. Oh, that's kind of hard. Yeah, we're gonna turn off the sound too. Oops. Yo, these are wild. Shout out them, dude. Again, I don't have any promo code or anything with them. I'm not making any money. They just sent it out for free, so there is a slight bias. But adobe definitely got some pretty dope products. Not gonna lie. And then like, I think for this video, we're just gonna leave it kind of how it is right now, because I mean, I could literally just spend like hours and hours just doing this. I've already been recording for an hour, so this is gonna take a long time to edit or whatever. But like, I think I'd maybe do some drawing on here, maybe write the song name like franchise or whatever, and that paint effect video I have, that kind of font. Obviously just change up a bunch of things. Like I just laid this out real quick, but I think for the sake of the video or whatever, it's pretty dope. You can even like, we'll just do some other. I'm actually enjoying doing this right now, so this is pretty cool video. I think I have a horizontal flip preset. Let's see. Yeah, I do. Or is it just a default one? Wait, what? All right, that doesn't make sense to me, but I guess we're not adding a horizontal flip. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna do for the effect. If you guys wanna see a full visualizer effect, definitely let me know in the comments below. We can definitely plan out something a little bit more precise. I didn't even really know what I was doing. I just knew I had a clip that I wanted to add some effects to. Just kind of just randomly decided to add this blur and these pictures up here. Like I said, the paper rips that I was using are from my pack on my website. So if you want to do something like that, you can go ahead and get some really dope paper textures. And these overlays that I use were from adobe. Again, don't have an affiliation with them other than them sending them out for free. I'll have them linked below as well. Definitely got some real cool looks out of those. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for the video. If you made it all the way to the end, I really appreciate you. This one took a while to make. So if you haven't already, like and comment. And if you're not subscribed already, go ahead and do so. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for the video. Peace.